Good day, guys. I trust you're doing well. I come to you today with a heavy heart, knowing that Dr. James Dobson has passed away as of yesterday, I understand. If you don't know who Dr. James Dobson is, he was a very monumental figure in Christianity these last 89 years. He passed away yesterday at his home, 89 years old in California, I think it was, and might have been Colorado where he's living now, but he was the founder of Focus on the Family, Christian radio and podcast. Later on, he founded Family Talk with James Dobson. Both of those can be accessed today on Apple Podcast. Focus on the Family and Dr. James Dobson's Family Talk. Both of those can be accessed. Excellent Christian programming. You really should look into Dr. James Dobson. In fact, if you want to hear a good summary of his life and ministry, look up Mohler The Briefing. That's also on Apple Podcast. Dr. Albert Mohler is the president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. He comes on there 5 days a week, and he discusses daily news and events from a Christian worldview. It's an excellent program also. But go listen to today's episode of Albert Mohler The Briefing, and he does a summary of James Dobson's life. And Dr. James Dobson was a mountain of a man. It would to God that my life would be 1/10 of what James Dobson's life and effect on humanity was. He did a lot of good for a lot of people. In fact, when I got saved, I didn't get saved and come to Jesus until I was 26 years old. Even though I had a sweet little Christian mama who preached Jesus to me all my life, it took till 26 for the Holy Spirit to get a hold of me and reach me through a good friend named Andrew. On my front porch one day, I got saved through Andrew's witness. And my good friend Cody, who also witnessed to me for many years throughout school. The Lord reached me at 26, and when I got saved at 26, I turned on the radio station, and a radio station I can reach from here is 106.9 FM The Light. And it's a Christian radio station put out by the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. And when I got saved, I didn't yet go to church. I didn't understand the value of going to church. I didn't grow up in church. I got saved on my front porch and came to Christ and was born again. I didn't understand really anything that had happened to me or what it meant to really be a Christian. I had no idea. But when I got saved, I was hungry for God. And I turned on that radio and I found that 106.9. And I think I had remembered it from years before. A friend of mine's mother used to listen to that station, and I stopped there, and they were playing Christian music. And in the morning they would have 3 hours of preaching and teaching, and in the evening they would have 3 hours of preaching and teaching. Each radio show was like 30 minutes long for the 3 hours, so it'd be 3 hours split up into 30-minute segments. And you would have like a Focus on the Family with Dr. James Dobson. You'd have Family Life. You'd have Chip Ingram, Living on the Edge with Chip Ingram. Connect with Skip Heitzig. Walk in the Word with James McDonald. You'd have David Jeremiah come on. And man, that was so fundamental to my early days as a Christian. Learning what it is to be a Christian, what it means, the history, the significance, what it means in our world today to be a Christian, how it looks practically in daily life to be a Christian. Before I found a church family and had, the full real human flesh thing going on in my life, before I knew anything, I had the radio preachers and the radio programs like Family Life and Focus on the Family with Dr. James Dobson. And it's been such a big part of my life because I'm a working class man I'm a poor man. I work 1 and 2 and 3 jobs, and just like anybody else, I'm out here working for a living to get by. And somewhere in the midst of all that, you learn about things as you can. And it's been so amazing to me that even with a busy life and working like I've had to work to survive, I have been able to access quality Christian truth and programming, and learn about the Bible and learn about God and learn about how to be a husband and a dad and how to be a good Christian man. And it's been available and accessible to me through the radio airwaves, through podcast on demand. Now people are on YouTube. I grew up before YouTube. And so it's amazing to me, this technology and good people like Dr. James Dobson who get on here and try to do life with people and get the word out, get the truth out, touch other people and make a difference in their life with what God's done for you. And that's exactly what I am trying to do here on my channel. Many of the people who go on Focus on the Family and Family Life today are, well-known, famous preachers and people that have written books, and that I don't want to say they're celebrities, but they're pretty well known in the world of Christianity and things. And I'm probably not someone who ever would be welcomed on to Focus on the Family, because I have not written a book. I don't have a PhD education. I just have an associate's level of Christian studies. I have an associate's degree in Christian ministries, and I'm a pastor of a little small country church, maybe 30 to 40 people. So I'm probably not someone who would be, maybe one of these years, if God wills, and I can go to Focus and be on Focus on the Family. But I'm trying to start my own little Focus on the Family here, where people who aren't already PhDs and who's who, common folk like me and you, that's who I am. That's who I'm still just a common man, a hard-working man who loves Jesus, and I'm trying to figure it out, how to be a good dad, a good husband, a good Christian pastor, a good friend and brother, and that's who I'm speaking to, is the dirty old construction worker like me, the common working man like me, who doesn't have time, who doesn't have money, who doesn't understand maybe the value of going to church or having a good Christian family around you. But I'm trying to reach out with what I have and reach out to you, brother and sister, and bring a little bit of Jesus to you on demand. You can watch these videos anytime that you want. And yes, I would love for this ministry here to grow and become something like Focus on the Family. They ended up having, radio programs and podcasts and YouTube videos, and they would have all these guest teachers and speakers and everybody from common people to well-known pastors and authors, and just have different people come on and share their life story and what God has done for them and what they've been through and just their story. And really, this, as I look at YouTube today, I think really most people doing a YouTube channel, whether they realize it or not, they are following in the footsteps of Dr. James Dobson and Focus on the Family, because they were one of the early pioneers of this format of, building a family, building a community, putting up content, and then bringing guest speakers on to the show like that. James Dobson's been doing that since the 70s. And so whether we realize it or not, I think any of us in the YouTube world have James Dobson to thank for this format of medium, because he was a pioneer in this space, and he deeply impacted my life and the lives of many, many others. And I'm so thankful for the life of Dr. James Dobson. And I'm trying to do the same thing myself that he did for me. I'm trying to now do that for you. And you know, so pray, if you will, pray for me. Pray for this channel and this ministry of mine. This YouTube journey is my attempt to build my own little focus on the family, my own little ministry world, where I hope to one day have guest speakers on here, my friends and those that have been significant in my life. Maybe I can have them come on and share their story sometime. And in fact, I'm reaching out to other YouTubers, and I'm trying to learn how to collaborate with them. There's one young man in particular I'm trying to reach out to, and he may or may not have time, you know, because I only have like 30 subscribers now. You know, I've only been doing this for about 6 weeks, so I'm really not even on the radar of most YouTubers. But there's a young man named Robin Sayre, and I encourage you to look him up, Robin Sayre, on YouTube. He's a Bitcoiner. He's a young man, probably early 20s, and every day he has a daily podcast, and he's talking about Bitcoin. And you know, you hear me talk about Bitcoin, some people hear Bitcoin and immediately they turn the channel off. But you know, just like I have been so blessed with Focus on the Family these years and all these family Christian programs, the people that come on there, they talk about all facets of life, okay? They talk about your job, they talk about work, they talk about family and blended families and how to be a good parent, how to be a good child or daughter, son. You know, God's word, the Bible, has something to say about all of life, because God created us and he designed this thing. It's his blueprint, his idea. Marriage is a God-given covenant. Like, human life is a God thing. God created this and God gives this. And so the Bible has something to say about all of this. And finances are a part of that. Finance is a very big part of a family or your individual life, because you know, you have to have a job, you have to have money, you have to pay bills, you have to eat. Everybody, you know, everybody understands this. It's known, it's understood. And so when I get on here and I talk about Bitcoin, I'm not trying to weird you out or sell you a scam, okay? I'm trying my best to help somebody. I do believe you should study and look into some Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a part of the financial landscape that we live in the year 2025, and I believe it's a very good savings vehicle that you should consider, you should look into. And if you don't understand Bitcoin or why people talk about Bitcoin, already I can tell you that you need to learn about Bitcoin, because you don't understand the financial system. I'll tell you this, all of my life I've worked hard, and all of my life it just seemed like I could never get ahead. I could never save money. I did save money, but it just never went anywhere or became anything. I never was able to get anywhere financially, and it's because I did not understand what was going on in the big picture of finance. I didn't know anything about finance or how to save money, or you know, the proper ways to save money. And now, you know, after finding the Bitcoiner community, I have a good understanding of finance, and I understand exactly why I could never save any money. Because if you try to save your money in US dollars or in standard traditional TradFi investment vehicles like your IRA and stocks and bonds, mutual funds, the Mag 7, the S&P 500, all that stuff, brother, you're holding a melting ice cube, and it's melting faster than you can put money into it. You know, the Mag 7 and the S&P 500, those things basically just keep par with inflation, but you're not getting anywhere. You're not gaining. Bitcoin is an investment vehicle by which you can actually gain. Okay, that's why I teach about Bitcoin. It's a part of personal finance. The Christian community has been very slow to come to Bitcoin. I just last night saw a couple of PhD Christian people finally starting to acknowledge that Bitcoin is moral money and you should look into Bitcoin. But I've been for two or three years now trying to teach people about Bitcoin, and everybody looks at me like I have 10 heads and I'm a crazy person. But I think I'm one of the earlier Christians to advocate Bitcoin among the Christian community. Either way, I want to encourage you to look up Robin Sayre, S-E-Y-R, Robin Sayre. He's a young man, an Austrian. He sounds just like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love that because I'm an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. My buddy Andrew is too. He knows all about it. Andrew, you know. We used to think we were going to work out and be like, you know, big, bulky like Arnold. I never made that yet, but Andrew almost has. Anyway, I'm hoping to, I've reached out to Robin to request that we get to collaborate on a video. I think he's up to like 13,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's far, far more well known than I am in the YouTube world, but I'm beginning to try to build my Focus on the Family network here of people that I can bring in to share valuable life skills with you and add value to you for tuning in to the channel. So pray for me and my ministry here, my channel, if you will, that God would use and bless and grow my efforts, because I'm giving what I have. I'm trying to be of some value to you, because God's done so much for me through great men like James Dobson, and I'm just trying to do that for you. So thank you for being a part of this. If you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with videos when I put them up. If you would, comment down below and tell me a little bit about yourself and where you're coming from. You know, I don't have a whole lot of comments yet, and I'm looking forward to that. You can be one of the early pioneers of, you know, actually commenting. And maybe you have a YouTube channel. Maybe you're a young YouTuber like me and you're new in the space, and you too would like to collaborate. Hey, I'll collaborate with you. I'll make a video with anybody, because I'm trying to get started. So I would be honored to have anybody who would want to talk about the things I like to talk about. I'm basically talking about the Christian life and, you know, faith and family, finances, prophecy, all of these things, you know, and because God has something to say about everything. So you can really talk about anything because God's the author of all of it. So yeah, I would welcome any collaborators. Message me down below if you'd like to collaborate sometime. And thank you for the channel. Thank you for your time tuning into the channel, and I thank God for the opportunity to be here. I hope this blesses you. Go look up Mohler The Briefing and listen to today's episode about James Dobson and his life, and help me in praying for his family in the wake of his loss. He's a great man of God and touched my life greatly, and I have many thanks to give that man when I see him in heaven. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you find Jesus, because he's the way, and we'll catch you on the next one.